actually got it right first time. It's pretty good going for me. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Reece and I'm the winner of Junior Bake Off 2021. And today I'm going to teach you a very important skill when it comes to decorating a cake. I'm going to teach you how to crumb coat. If anyone doesn't know what a crumb coat is, then it is basically like you fill and stack your cake, and then you do a really thin layer of icing around the side and the top, just to lock in all those crumbs, and you leave it in the fridge for as long as possible. And then when you take it back out and ice it properly, like a full thick frosting, then it comes out really nice and you don't see any crumbs. So that's why you do a crumb coat. And my crumb coat, I try to keep it in the fridge for as long as possible, because then it ensures on having no crumbs inside your cake. But before we get into that, I had a very exciting parcel sent to me from Doric cake crafts. Yeah! I'm going to show you what they've got, and then we're going to use some of their products in today's video. So here we have some cake tins, and I'll take them out right now. So we've got some simple, nice, what size is this, 6-inch cake tins. In today's video, I've already made the cakes for us to crumb coat. But if you guys would like to see how to make vanilla cake recipe, then do let me know in the comments down below. I'll be sure to do that for you guys. But other than that, what else have we got? Yeah, 8-inch or 6-inch are really good size. When it comes to cakes, and a lot of people have asked me loads of questions, and I feel like even numbers are always the best. So 4-inch, a 6-inch, an 8-inch, a 10-inch, and even a 12-inch is a really good size. Oh, a turntable. This is very key when it comes to crumb coating your cake. If you guys don't have a turntable, then you will struggle. But you can also, if you put the cake on a piece of parchment paper, and then you can just remove the parchment paper. It's a little bit tricky. That's how I used to do it. But since I got a turntable, it's been the best thing ever, and it really helps crumb coat and final coat your cakes. Massive cake tin. I feel like this tin here is very good for brownies and tray bakes. It's a very big square cake tin. This is a 10-inch PME seamless sharp oven bake. So it can be put in the fridge and is really handy. Some more cake tins. I do love my cake tins. I don't think you can ever have too many cake tins. So we've got some more 6-inch and some more 8-inch. And then we've got some Wilton cookie cutter set, because I feel like you can do so much with them, because you don't just have to cut out cookies with it, you can cut out fondant, loads of things. So this is what they look like. They're really cool. So I'm going to definitely use them soon. Some more cake tins, of course, 8-inch or 6-inch. Like I said, I love cake tins. You can never have too many cake tins. And I feel like after a while the cake tins start to lose their stick. So I tend to if they get really bad, I'll usually throw them all and then buy a new batch, because after a while cake tins do start to lose their quality. So this I really like. It's a piping bag holder. So whenever I am doing a cake, I always leave the piping bag just on the surface, and I feel like it just doesn't work. You accidentally put a little bit of butter or something, and it just gets in the way. But if you have one of these, you can just put the piping bags in the little holder. Can you see that? Yeah, you can just put the piping bags in the little holder, and that's really helpful. It's a lot more easier, because I feel like a really good tidy work surface really helps. Last but definitely not least is a cupcake insert. So here it is. So this is really cool, because you can colour a different section inside your cake. So you put this in, you pour your one colour on the outside, and then you pour a different colour on the inside. Or you could just stab, once they're cooked, you could stab them and fill it with lotus or lemon curd or something, depending on what flavour cupcakes you're doing. So these are very versatile. I'll definitely use that in another cupcake video coming soon. And that's everything. The box is empty. That was loud. So if you guys would like to buy any of this stuff, there's a link down below to the baking company. The baking company sell every single thing that I've shown here today, and they've also got lots more products on their site. So I'll leave their site in the description box down below, and you guys can check them out and go see what they have. I love the baking company personally. I feel like they've got lots of variety of things, so that's why I get most of my baking stuff from.
Cut the cameras.
Anyway, let's get on to today's video, which is going to be crumb coating a cake. Let's clear up first. Here I have my two sponges. As you see, they're very thick and fluffy. Normally they're never this high, but I've doubled it and I baked it for quite a while. Just so, because normally I'll bake four small ones, then 2 big ones, because it bakes quicker when you do lots of small ones. But I had time today, so I just did a very thick one. But I'm going to show you how to level a cake which is very, very important, because if you don't level a cake, when it comes to icing it, it can just topple over. I do quite a bit when I just forgot to level my cakes and it's just completely toppled over. So I'm going to teach you how to level a cake properly. I'm going to teach you 2 ways. You can either just use a simple serrated edge knife, which is just like a bread knife, just to go through the cake. It's not very guaranteed that it's going to be completely straight. Whereas if you buy a cake leveler, which is also I bought from Baking Company, you can just chop it straight through and it's like so perfect. So I'll show you both ways, but today first I'll show you the cake leveler. Here is what a cake leveler looks like. This is a very big one, because normally I do this for quite big cakes, because I have a lot of wedding cake and big cake orders, but you can get smaller ones. I think this is 12 inch, but you can get a 10 inch. But these cakes are 8 inch, so I'll show you. Let's just move this cake out of the way. So you've got your first cake. You just want to hold your cake leveler down like this. Grab your cake leveler. So first, there's these little nibs, as you can see, on the cake leveler. So you can turn it up or down depending on how high you want your cake. So I'm just going to take it up about 2 more notches and just have a look, see if it looks good. So it looks perfect. Yeah, it does. Hold the cake like this with one hand on. Don't worry, guys, I've washed my hands. And then you hold the cake down and you just saw back and forth. I know, I hate the noise, sorry. Keep on going. There we go. So here I have my 2 sponges. So I have one here, very, very nice and level, and then the other one here. So the cake level really helps, because as you can see, you get really, really nice straight cake. And that's really, really, really handy when it comes to icing them. So I'm just going to do that to my other one, but you guys, I'm going to show you guys how to do it with a knife now. Personally, I hate using knives because I feel like it's not guaranteed. But you just want to grab a knife. This is what it's for. I don't really like using a knife because it's not really as guaranteed, so I hope that it doesn't. So I hope that it doesn't come out bad. But this is normally what the knife looks like. And then you just want to find halfway, put your hand on top again, and just saw back and forth very gently, making sure that you're even all the way. If you can twist it at the same time, that'll be good. So as you're using the knife, just twist it around. It's a very different technique to doing the cake leveler. If you don't have to twist, but this you have to twist, but you also have to try and meet your mark as well. So it's quite tricky. But then once you've got the hang of it, it should be alright. So it's took me quite a few tries before. But see, so you can level the cake just normally, with a knife. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't come out as great, because you guys can probably see that it's not as straight as it could be. But that's honestly just because of a knife. If you did use a cake leveler, then it'd be 10 times better. But now our cakes are ready and prepared. We're gonna make the buttercream. I'm not gonna show you how to make the buttercream in today's video. In today's video, I'm just going to show you how to crumb. Today's video is all about technique. So I'm not gonna show you how to make a cake, and I'm not gonna show you how to make the buttercream, but I am gonna show you how to stack and crumb coat a cake. I'm also, as this cake is also a lemon cake, I'm also going to fill, stack and crumb coat a cake. So that's all today's video is all about technique. But if you guys would like to see my vanilla cake recipe and my buttercream recipe, let me know in the comments down below, and I'll definitely do a video on that. But I'm going to quickly whip up a batch of buttercream and we're going to get started. So here is the first layer. I'm just going to plop it down on the cake board. I'm using the turntable, Doric's. So I'm now using the turntable, the PME turntable that Doric sent, which you can buy from the Baking Company. The link is in the description box below. So I'm going to just pop my cake board on, which is also from the Baking Company, and pop my first cake on. So when you put your first cake on, you want to make sure that it's nice and central in the cake board, because if it's on one side, then it won't look right. So you just want to pop that on. I showed you in the previous video on how to fill a piping bag, so if you want to see that, then just go check my last video, my Lotus Biscoff cupcakes. But the best way to fill a cake is always with a piping bag, because it's a lot neater. So I've got my green piping bag here, it's very, very large. I'm just going to use my spatula and just sort of fill in this gap and fill it with lots and lots of buttercream. You want to make sure that it's nice and compact, because you don't want any air bubbles, because your cake will just your buttercream will just pop. So you want to fill it with as much buttercream as you can. But always make sure you leave enough, because you do need enough to crumb coat. And then fold it over, squeeze all the icing down. Then you want to get a pair of scissors. And then you want to get a pair of scissors and you just want to chop off a little bit. There we go. Oh, just enough, not a massive, large like cut, just what I'd probably say a centimetre. And then you want to push that down and then you want to start filling your cake. So you hold it like this, you twist to hold a piping bag, you hold the top, you twist it around and you put your finger underneath. There's a lot of different ways to hold a piping bag, but this is just the best way. This is how I like it. So you just hold it vertical to the cake and you do a nice border. So you want to do quite a thick border, especially when you're doing a filling, because sometimes the filling can tend to like seep out. So the best way to do it is kind of just hold your piping bag in one spot and then use your turntable. A lot of people don't really tend to use their turntable properly, so you just want to hold your turntable and you want to pipe all the way around. Make sure you've got a really big, to have a nice space to put your lemon curd in. So now I've got my angled palette knife and you're just going to use the tip of it. You're not going to use the whole thing, and you're just going to slowly go inside the cake like this, just to kind of close the filling off and make sure there's no holes in the cake. Once you've got your moat, you kind of just want to do a really thin layer of buttercream on the base of your cake, ready to fill your lemon curd in. So you kind of just spiral all the way around until you've finished it. So now I've finished it, so I go back to my palette knife and just fill in that moat a little bit with the buttercream, just so it's nice and secure, so the buttercream, just so the lemon curd doesn't seep out. Sometimes the moat can tend to break when you do this, but just be very careful. You don't want this to break when you are filling it with your curd. Okay, here's my lemon curd. I made this in advance. I made this morning. When it comes to lemon curd, it's really good. It's really good to make it a night before or a couple of hours before, because you need to let it set in the fridge for quite a while, just so it can become a little bit more thick and easier to work with. So I made mine this morning, and I love my lemon curd recipe. If you guys would like to see my lemon curd recipe, then let me know in the comments down below and I'll be sure to make that happen. Whilst you're down there, you might as well go follow my Instagram. On my Instagram I've got lots of different baking hacks, tips, and I post almost every day with lots of different bakes and recipes. So go ahead and go follow down there. But now it's time, back onto the cake, ready to go. And I'm now going to fill it. So I've got an elf's hat here. Well, it looks like an elf's hat, but it's kind of a pipe. It's a very large piping bag. So you just want to open it up and you want to fill up. So you just want to open it up and you want to fill this up. If you don't have a piping bag, it's absolutely fine. You can use a spoon. But I feel like when I use a piping bag, it gives you a bigger level of accuracy and a lot more stability, and the lemon curd layer is a lot more even than it would be when you're using a spoon. So this is why I prefer to use a piping bag. I need a spoon. I got my spoon. so I'm gonna pour my lemon curd into my piping bag using my spoon. Do what I did last time with the buttercream. Using the scissors, cut a nice hole. This hole doesn't have to be as big as the buttercream hole, probably about half a centimetre, as you don't really need a lot, because I think lemon curd's a very strong flavour, so you don't really need a lot of lemon curd for the flavour to really show through. So now again, you just want to start in the middle and spiral round with your lemon curd, and then just level it off with a palette knife, which I'll show you now. Now I filled my cake. I'm going to use my palette knife to level the top off. Now, where's my palette knife? There it is. So now, using my palette knife, I'm just going to use this moat and just kind of fold it in, just to finish it off. Make sure it's nice and smooth. You don't really want to destroy that lemon curd filling because it will kind of just disappear. So the parchment paper's off, and I just want to put on your second layer of cake. When you put this on, you need to be very careful. You need to make sure that it's level with the cake before, using your turntable as a guide, and just kind of move it around, jig it around. You've got time, so just jig it around. And don't get worried if the buttercream starts to seep through. As you can see, it's all starting to seep through. That's absolutely fine. When it comes to crumb coating, you can just kind of smooth that out, and it's a lot easier anyway. So now I'm just going to repeat the process that I did last time. I'm just going to keep on stacking 2 more times until I've got a fully stacked lemon cake. So the cake is completely done, nice and level. And then you just want to do another ring of buttercream right at the top. So icing your sides. So once you've done that, before you start icing your sides, you want to smooth the top out because it's a lot easier when it comes to smoothing out the sides. So you want to grab your palette knife again. This is my favourite tool whilst I'm decorating a cake. But you just want to slide back and forth over the top of the cake just to coat the top. Nice. When you are decorating a cake, you want to do quite a big amount of buttercream because it's a lot easier to put lots on and scrape it off than only put a little bit on and then add. So it's always best to put more first. So using your piping bag, you just want to start from the bottom and you just want to go around and fill it up. See, the turntable is very, very handy when it comes to doing this. Once you've got all your, as you can see, all of the buttercream is just smothered all over the cake. It's not going to look the greatest at the moment, but you just want to use your palette knife and you just want to go right to the side of the cake so it's away from you. You don't want to go near because if you go in like that, you'll tug at the cake and you'll tear it away. So you want to go vertical right up to the cake and back and forth motions. Just keep on just applying a little bit of pressure at a time and just slowly crumb coating your cake. So there's a couple of different cake scrapers you can buy. So you've got this one, which is also known as like a dough scraper, and then this is good because it's very heavy and it's very good for cakes at this height. You can see the buttercream starting to smooth out. This palette knife has really helped bring in the ridges onto the inside of the cake, making sure that you get a really nice, sharp, smooth cake. So using your palette knife, you want to use the whole entire thing, the really rectangle part, and then you want to put your palette knife vertical on the thing and just pull it in slowly. And then with this excess buttercream, you don't really want to go back because then you're going to ruin what you've just done. So you want to scrape that back onto the side of your bowl. And you want to go again. So now you've finished doing the ridges, that's it. That's your cake crumb coated. It's completely finished. So it's a lot easier than it sounds, I think. A lot of people are scared to crumb coat a cake, but I feel like once you've got the hang of it, you can keep on doing it and it actually turns out really, really good. Now I'm going to put it in the fridge overnight, ready for me to decorate tomorrow morning. As a cold cake, it's a lot easier to decorate than a warm cake. Thanks again to Doric Cake Crafts for sending me all those really, really cool baking supplies. And if you guys would like to purchase anything that you saw today, check out the link below, thebakingcompany.co.uk, and you can use my code, which is Reese's Bakes 10 for 10% off, which I'm going to pop up on the screen here. So the code's right here. You guys can just use that code on your bakingcompany.co.uk and you guys can get 10% off your order, which is really, really great. So thank you, Baking Company, thank you, Doric Cake Crafts, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Bye!